Okay, just for a second. Stop what you're doing, pull out your phone, and look at the date. I'm serious, look at it. It is Wednesday, January 28th, 2026.
We're here.
We are officially in it. We have finally arrived at the big one.
It really is the moment, isn't it? The last few years have just been a runway to this. The 250th anniversary of American independence.
The semi-quincentennial. I'm still not sure I can say that word smoothly.
A mouthful.
But yes, we spent all of 2025 warming up with Bunker Hill and all the early skirmishes, but now we are staring down the barrel of the actual anniversary year and looking at this massive stack of documents we have on the desk today.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. We've got official schedules from the National Park Service, the Boston 250 City Initiative, state tourism boards. I mean, if you are anywhere near Massachusetts, the next 6 months are going to be absolutely intense.
Intense is a good word for it. But, you know, looking through these calendars, I think transformative might be even better. Yeah. This isn't just a list of parades. The city is trying to connect the dots between 1776 and 2026 in a way that's, well, is pretty ambitious.
And that is exactly our mission for this deep dive. We are going to kind of reveal the hidden story of the next 6 months from February through July. Because on the surface, yeah, it looks like a lot of reenactments and galas.
Right.
But when you dig into these source materials, there's a very specific, very fascinating story being told.
And to get that story, you have to get the now. I mean, it's January of 2026 for us, but in the historical timeline we're following, it's January 1776.
And things are not great.
Things are bleak. Boston is under siege. The British are trapped in the city. The colonial militia is surrounding them. Everyone is freezing. Smallpox is a real threat, and it's a complete stalemate.
It's like the season finale cliffhanger of some gritty historical drama.
Exactly. So let's unpack this timeline. We've got cannons in the snow. We've got legal piracy. We have jazz legends, and we have furniture.
We do have furniture. Let's start right there. Segment 1, Winter 2026. So if you're planning to be in Boston this February, the sources show this really fascinating split screen.
A total study in contrasts. On one side, the modern side, the city is offering a very 2026 way to handle the winter. You've got the frost of a lodge.
I saw this on the boston.gov highlights, and I honestly laughed. It's popping up in Back Bay, February 6th to the 28th.
Right.
A cozy winter escape.
But the detail that killed me. It is explicitly furnished by Wayfair.
Of course it is, which is so perfect, isn't it? You escape the wind, you sit on a plush sofa, you grab an artisanal hot chocolate. It's all about comfort.
Making winter bearable.
Exactly. But that stands out so much because of what is happening just a few miles away on the historical timeline.
You're talking about the Knox Trail.
The Knox Train of Artillery. This is the hardcore side of winter. To really get the stakes here, you have to realize that in the winter of 75-76, Washington has a huge problem.
Right. He's got the British trapped, but he can't actually do anything. He can't force them out. He has no heavy guns. He has muskets, but he needs cannons.
And the nearest cannons are where? New York?
Fort Ticonderoga, about 300 miles away.
Yeah.
So this guy, Henry Knox, and I love this detail, he was a bookseller.
Wait, a bookseller?
A bookseller, yeah. He learned military strategy by reading the books in his own shop. He comes up with this insane plan to drag 59 cannons from Ticonderoga to Boston.
In the middle of a New England winter.
Through the Berkshires. No highways, no trucks, just snow and ice. We're talking 60 tons of iron and brass.
How is that even possible?
It really shouldn't have been. They built 42 massive sleds and used 80 yoke of oxen. It was a logistical miracle.
And the sources say they're reenacting this.
They're retracing the route. The MA 250 schedule shows it's a sequenced event. End of January, it's at Old Sturbridge Village. Then on February 8th, it moves to Framingham.
So while some people are lounging on Wayfair sofas in Back Bay, reenactors are literally dragging cannons through the slush. That's some dedication.
It is.
But, you know, this brings up a huge theme I saw in the Boston 250 mission statement. They keep saying expansive and inclusive. It's not just about the guys with the cannons.
And that's the critical shift. If you look at the bicentennial in 1976, the narrative was very polished, very founding fathers.
Very marble statue.
Exactly. In 2026, the mandate is to find the stories that were overlooked.
And I saw a couple of events in February that really lean into that.
Yeah.
There's a panel on February 26th at the American Antiquarian Society called Black Women at the Center of Revolution.
Just that title alone is a provocation, in the best way. Usually Black women are framed as bystanders. This panel is arguing they were central.
Central to survival.
Right. When the men went to war, who held the social fabric together? Who ran the farms? Who organized the networks that kept everyone alive?
It challenges the whole definition of a revolutionary. It's not just the person holding the musket.
Precisely. And speaking of redefining the soldier, did you see the event in Lowell on February 20th?
Oh, the Barzillai Lou Project, yes. This caught me totally off guard. He was a free black soldier and musician.
He was a fifer, served at Bunker Hill, Ticonderoga. Think about the complexity of that. A free black man fighting for the independence of a country that still practiced slavery.
Fighting for a freedom that wasn't fully guaranteed to him.
Mind-boggling. But the event itself has this wild cultural crossover. It features a piano piece by Duke Ellington.
By Duke Ellington.
Yeah.
Apparently, Ellington was inspired by Lou's story back in the 40s.
It connects the dots so beautifully. You have American jazz royalty looking back at a black patriot from 1776. It bridges the political revolution of the 18th century with the cultural revolutions of the 20th.
It makes history feel like a living thing, a continuum.
Oh.
Okay, so we survived February, now we move into March. And in Boston, March usually means one thing.
St. Patrick's Day.
But in 2026, March 17th is pulling heavy double duty.
Or maybe triple duty, yeah. It's Evacuation Day 250.
Now, I feel like people outside of Boston might think Evacuation Day is just a made-up excuse to, have a day off.
It's a convenient coincidence, for sure, but historically it is monumental. Remember those cannons?
The 60 tons of iron.
Well, they finally arrive. And in early March 1776, Washington pulls this incredible stealth maneuver. Overnight, under the cover of darkness, they drag those cannons up Dorchester Heights.
Which overlooks the entire harbor.
It overlooks everything.
Yeah.
So the British wake up the next morning.
And what do they see?
They look up and see their worst nightmare, massive artillery pointing directly down at their fleet. The British commander reportedly said, "My God, these fellows have done more work in one night than my army would have done in 3 months."
It was checkmate.
Complete checkmate. They had to leave. So on March 17th, they evacuate Boston. The siege ends. It's the first major American victory of the war.
And the celebration for the 250th looks huge. The National Park source mentions a grand-scale event at Fort Independence.
Oh, it's going to be a spectacle. The schedule lists a parade review, a military flyover.
They'll fly over.
And a 21-gun salute.
Nothing says the British are leaving like jet engines screaming over the harbor.
It sounds a bit anachronistic, but think about the emotion they're trying to recreate. Relief. Absolute euphoria. After a year of occupation, you look out and see the ships sailing away. That's what they want you to feel.
But the war wasn't just on land. There's another angle here. Later in March, a talk called Rebels at Sea.
Yes. Privateering.
Which, let's be honest, sounds a lot like legalized piracy.
That's basically what it was. The colonies had no navy. Zero. So the government issued letters of marque.
Permission slips to steal.
Exactly. They were licenses for private ship owners, fishing boats that said, you are authorized to attack British commercial ships and steal their cargo.
I love that. It's such a Boston scrappy underdog vibe. We don't have a battleship, but we've got a fishing boat and some bad attitudes. Let's go.
And it was incredibly effective. This ragtag fleet tormented the British. It's an economic war that was essential to the victory.
That transitions us perfectly into April. The British have left Boston, so the calendar circles back to where it all started. Segment 3, the shot heard round the world season.
Right, the anniversary of Lexington and Concord. But what strikes me in the 2026 lineup is how self-reflective it is. They aren't just reenacting the battle.
They're analyzing how we remember it.
Precisely. The Concord Museum opens an exhibition on April 1st called Revolutionary Legacies. It's about how Concord has been mythologized over time.
So it's like meta-history.
It is. Think about it. We celebrated this in 1875, right after the Civil War. In 1976, right after Vietnam. Each generation uses this story to say something different about America. The exhibit is asking, what story are we telling now in 2026?
That is really cool. But don't worry, if you just want to see people in tricorn hats, they have that too.
Oh, absolutely. April 13th is the big day. You've got the search of the Barrett farm and then the capture of Paul Revere.
Wait, the capture? Most people forget the part where he gets caught.
It's a key detail. Longfellow's poem leaves out that Revere never actually made it to Concord. He was detained by a British patrol.
So it was actually Samuel Prescott who finished the ride.
It was. Justice for Prescott.
I'm glad they're keeping it accurate. But there is a serious thread running through April as well. I want to point out the Freedom March Square dedication mentioned in the Boston.gov source.
Yes. This is critical. They are drawing an explicit line from the 1770s to the Civil Rights Movement of the 1960s to the Martin Luther King Jr. Freedom Rally.
So the argument is that the revolution didn't just end.
It continued that the work of freedom is unfinished business. That phrase pops up a lot.
Unfinished business. It feels like the city is saying, hey, we started this thing, but we're still working on it.
Which is a very healthy, mature way to approach a 250th anniversary. It's not just a victory lap, it's an interrogation of that founding promise.
Okay, let's move into the summer. The weather is finally nice. Segment 4, summer 2026.
And this is where the scope broadens, beyond just military history and into cultural identity. On June 6th, the Norman Rockwell Museum opens a major exhibit, Visions of a Nation.
250 years, from Revolution to Rockwell. I like that. It's about how artists have branded America.
Exactly. Nations are built on images. It's about the visualization of the American dream, how we see ourselves.
And on the more grassroots side, I found this event on June 13th in Brimfield. Totally charming. The spirit of Brimfield, 250 years of freedom?
At the winery and town common?
Yes. It just sounds so quintessential New England. Small town, big history.
But that matters. The revolution happened in those town commons, in the farm fields. It reminds us that this was a populist uprising.
Which brings us to the grand finale, July 2026.
The big month.
The Knox Trail commemoration we talked about all the way back in February, it culminates here.
Right. They've been following the timeline for months, and it all leads up to the 4th of July.
And then, of course, the 4th itself, the semi-quincentennial. The sources are a little vague on the hour-by-hour schedule, probably because the scale is just unprecedented.
It's going to be massive. But there is one concept I want to highlight that I think is really unique. The unmonument.
The unmonument. What is that?
It's part of the public art programming. Traditional monuments are static. A bronze guy on a horse saying, "This is the truth forever." An unmonument is dynamic. It might be temporary art or a performance. It questions what we memorialize.
It's bucking tradition again.
Bucking tradition is a Boston tradition. That's the quote right there on the city's website. It fits perfectly.
So let's bring this all together. Segment 5. The synthesis. What does all this mean?
I think the key takeaway is that Boston isn't treating this as a finished story. They are treating 1776 as a catalyst, not a conclusion.
I really like that other quote from Boston.gov. Boston has never been satisfied with the status quo.
It is, and it's all about the concept of the everyday revolutionary. It's not just about Washington, though there are talks about him. The real energy of the 250th seems focused on the ordinary people.
The farmers, the privateers, the activists in 1965.
Exactly. The revolution was driven by ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and they didn't know they were going to win. That's the part we forget. They were terrified. They were gambling everything.
So we've covered the cannons, the flyover, the art, the inclusivity, the big July bash. If you had to tell our listener to do one thing, what's the vibe?
I would say, engage with the unfinished business. Don't just watch the parade. Go to the panels. Go to the exhibits that ask hard questions. Because that's the real spirit of 1776. It wasn't a parade back then. It was an argument, a messy, dangerous argument about what freedom really means.
That is such a good point. It wasn't a party. It was a fight.
And here's a thought to leave you with. We keep talking about bucking tradition. If Boston's DNA is about disrupting the status quo, what does a revolutionary act look like in 2026? When people look back at the 300th anniversary in 2076, what will they say this generation disrupted? What traditions did we buck?
That is a heavy question to drop right at the end. I love it.
That's what history is for. It's a mirror.
Well, there you have it. The next 6 months are packed. Whether you're into freezing your toes off, following a canon, or diving into the genealogy of a jazz legend, there is something for you.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime calendar.
Literally. So pick an event. Witness some history. And hey, maybe we'll see you at the parade. Thanks for diving in with us.
Thank you.